This is IGN. Coming up, the good, the bad, and the ugly from Nintendo Switch 2 Day. Welcome to your IGN Daily Update. Yes, the day has finally come. The Nintendo Switch 2 has arrived and is in stores. But as we have learned from highly anticipated releases in the past, not everything around the new launch has been so rosy. Let's unpack what went down on Nintendo Switch Day. First, the good. Nintendo Switch 2 fans have been quick to praise the console's improved eShop for adding a handy new feature and for not running like an online storefront built almost a decade ago. Load up the Switch 2 eShop now, and you'll be in front of the store's main menu within just a couple of seconds. Browsing is also noticeably snappier, with the virtual store's various sections and product pages loading near instantly. Overall, the new eShop has been given a very positive response online, where fans have also noted that Nintendo has now added an on-sale filter to the eShop's wishlist menu. This new feature allows you to see, at a glance, which of the games on your wishlist are currently on sale, something that's handy if you're currently tracking a long lineup of titles to buy when they're next on offer. On Reddit, Nintendo fans with the Switch 2 already in their hands have described the console's eShop browsing experience overall as very responsive, so zippy, and finally not a buggy mess. In other positive Switch 2 news, fans have been pleasantly surprised to find that Switch 2 editions of some games already released on Switch 1 are reverse-backwards compatible on Nintendo's older hardware. Nintendo fans have known for some time that Switch 2 is backwards compatible with Switch 1 games, but what happens when you do the reverse and stick a Switch 2 game in a Switch 1? Insert a Switch 2 only game such as Mario Kart World in a Switch 1, and Nintendo's last-gen console will simply display an error message saying that the software is designed for Switch 2. But pop a Switch 2 edition cartridge of some games also available on Switch 1, such as The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and it works. What's going on here? Well, Nintendo itself hasn't gone into detail, but packaging for Switch 2 edition games does note that cartridges contain both the original game and the Switch 2 upgrade. This Nintendo Switch 2 edition comprises the Nintendo Switch game and the Nintendo Switch 2 edition upgrade pack, Switch 2 edition packaging reads. The upgrade pack is also available separately. In other words, when you put a Switch 2 edition cartridge in a Switch 1, the older console knows to ignore the Switch 2 bit and just play the original game. Nintendo doesn't appear to have ever stated in plain language this is how some Switch 2 edition cartridges operate, but it's a useful feature to be aware of. IGN has contacted Nintendo for more. Now let's talk about the bad and ugly. Nintendo has updated its list of Switch 2 compatibility issues to request that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate owners refrain from using the Mii Fighter characters, as they're currently breaking the game. According to Nintendo's Japanese support website, thanks Oatmeal Dome, the issue with Mii Fighter only occurs when Smash Bros. Ultimate is being played online, and a match takes place between one person on Switch 1 and another person on Switch 2. In this circumstance, should one player be using Mii Fighter, Nintendo warns that an online match may end immediately, kicking both players out before the usual punch-ups can be had. Nintendo hasn't explained the reason why this issue is occurring, though the fact it's limited to Mii characters may suggest there is some difference to how the two console generations handle the custom avatars, leaving the game to give up on matches instead. Indeed, Nintendo also warns that Mii Fighter thumbnails may not save correctly on Switch 2, pointing to some kind of compatibility problem. An update will be released soon, Nintendo has said, though there's no word yet on when. And finally, it looks as though Nintendo Switch 2 owners are opening consoles with punctured screens due to store receipts being stapled into the front of the console's box. Photos from a string of Switch 2 customers show how staples can easily penetrate through the console's packaging, which consists of a thin cardboard box and a flimsy plastic envelope containing the main Switch 2 unit. Many images showing the problem include receipts from the same Staten Island branch of GameStop, which appears to have stapled receipts to much of their midnight launch Switch 2 stock. While GameStop has been criticized by those affected, fans have also expressed surprise that Nintendo itself had not done more to protect the key part of Switch 2 within the console's packaging. You know, the main unit, including its screen. I'm not going to hate on the employees too hard, but it seems like it was packaged without thought, one fan with a damaged Switch 2 wrote. Why have the screen facing up with barely any protection? I mean, they are still idiots for stapling it. The Switch 2 is packaged with its main unit at the front of the console's cardboard box and its screen facing outward. IGN has contacted many of the fans now left with a Switch 2 that's been damaged on the day of the console's launch through no fault of their own. One GameStop customer told us they would be back at the store when it opened later to return the console. It seems likely they won't be alone. That's your IGN Daily Update. My name is Tony Jackson, and if you want more news on your favorite games and entertainment topics, make sure to visit us at IGN.com. You can also download our free app on your phone or console and subscribe to our weekly podcasts through the podcast service of your choice.
Spoken Layer.